Hello everybody. Before we get into this video, I just want to let you guys know that this is actually supposed to be part of another video that I have coming out probably sometime before the end of the year. It's a big speedrunning retrospective video essay, blah blah blah. So the interview that you're about to see is actually going to be the full version. It's almost 40 minutes long. Um, but for the speedrunning video, it's going to be edited down, of course. But I figured, you know what? That video is still quite a bit away, and I want to get this intro. I want to get this out. I gotta get something out, right? So, please enjoy this interview with PxlWeezy. He is a prolific speedrunner, and yeah, just sit back and enjoy, everybody.
Big butts and it cannot lie. And
Yeah,
that's where you can cut it in.
that's exactly where I'm gonna cut it in. So, how you doing, Wheezy?
I'm doing good.
Yeah,
Yeah, a bit tired, but
that's understandable. So
speed
you
running is a bitch.
It really is. Like, we speedrun two different games, but I get it. I get that feeling that it's a bitch.
Yeah, it's fun, but it's a bitch.
So, Wheezy, why don't you start off and tell the people a little bit about yourself, what you do, what you're all
Well, I
about.
I speed run Banjo Kazooie, a children's video game made in 1998, and I also do Ocarina of Time randomizers and potentially speed running a ton of other games in the future.
All right.
And I stream regularly, I
He
guess.
he does stream regularly. Yeah, his Twitch will be in the description. What other games you kind of mentioned that? What other games would you ever like to speedrun in the future?
Well, as to no surprise, as someone who speedruns Banjo Kazooie, I am going to try to speedrun Banjo Tooie. But I'm
Natural.
going forward, I'm not going to try to speedrun very many games that are over 2.5 hours if I can help it. And a lot of that really consists of 100% speedruns. So I've kind of got like a barrier of time. And there's two games that I'm going to try learning next, and that is Banjo Tooie, any percent, no DCW, which is a specific category where essentially you just kind of like you beat the game in any percent, but you do a lot of like silly tricks that just like get you through the level. It's
Yeah.
it's really fun. Um, and then there's Donkey Kong 64 NLE, or no levels early. That those two games are roughly going to be about 2.5 hours. I would imagine that like my first few attempts will just be over 3 hours. But after that, I want to hit Luigi's Mansion. I want to hit Mario Sunshine. I want to do uh, God, I had others in mind. Mario Odyssey.
Oh, that'd be a good
There's a
one.
there's a few that I want to do, but those are just some of the ones that are off the top of my
Would
head.
would you
Oh,
ever?
Sonic Adventure 2. That's the other
Ooh,
one.
would you ever try to do like an SM64 speed run?
No,
No.
as somebody who has seen some and Super Mario 64 speed runs, and being a Banjo speedrunner, I hate Mario 64 in a sense. I love the game, and I respect it, and I have nostalgia for it, and I'll play it once in a blue moon. But that game aged like milk, and it's very chunky milk
Yeah.
at this point. And I know that's a hot take, and a lot of people are going to be like, "Oh, Wheezy, what are you talking about? That's the game's great. It's the pinnacle of speedrunning." Yeah, a lot of people speedrun it, but I hate it. And not that I hate it, but people do it. I'm more like, I think the game is overplayed, and it's a good intro to speedrunning for those that want to do it for that kind of game, like 3D platformers and stuff. But the game mechanics annoy me. They're god awful. There's a ton of categories you can do, but the game is so technical and clunky, and I just it's just not good. I don't have any intentions of ever doing an SM64.
I mean,
I just don't.
you're saying the hot take is that you don't like the game, but my hot take is I've never played the game.
And
I
that's not bad. I actually think like I think at this point, who cares?
like
Mostly because
I've like you said, I've seen speedrunner videos. My buddy used to speedrun it, and I'd watch that, and I'm like, it's just I don't fuck with it. I don't fuck with Mario game, older Mario games, I should say. Like Mario
It's not that.
Odyssey was really good. I really enjoyed it.
Mhm.
And if I still had a
Yeah.
Switch, I probably would have gotten Mario Wonder because that did look interesting. But I don't know, man. I was always more of a Sonic kid growing up.
I I think it's a fun game, Mario 64. There's a lot of really good ones. I don't think I would say just because I have rose-colored glasses and I look at it and it's like, yeah, I'll never think Mario 64 is hot garbage, but I do think it's the worst 3D Mario game. And some people will throw Mario Sunshine into that category.
I
But
enjoyed Mario Sunshine. I had a fun time with that. But
yeah,
I know I'm in the minority in that category.
well, I'm right there with you.
Yeah. So you mostly speedrun 3D platformers and anything. Is there any genre of game that you would kind of maybe like to branch out into in terms of speedrunning?
I actually have thought of like going into Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion speedruns.
Ah,
I I am under the mindset of speedrun a game that you love, because if you speedrun a game that you love, you'll never hate it.
that's why I speedrun
And
zombies.
yeah, if you never speedrun, if you speedrun a game you love and you have an extreme passion for it, you know that eventually you'll look at it and you'll just be like, you know what? Even if I'm not going to be good at it, at least at this point, I can go back to it and still appreciate it for what it was. And now I'm just better at the game that I played,
Yeah.
spent a ton of time into. So
Yeah.
it's definitely a lot of fun to just like mess around with a game that you're really good at, or that you have a huge passion for and try to speed run. But if you just kind of look at it that way, you'll just never get over it. That's why I've been speed running Banjo for about 2.5 years now, and getting back into the grind here soon. So
So that's basically how you got into this whole kind of style of content. You know, you loved Banjo so much that you decided to start speedrunning it.
basically, I saw someone that I watch or listen to, I guess you could say, by the name of Family Jewels. They are um, They're a metal guitarist
Yeah.
who covers video game songs, which they do really well.
Oh yeah.
And he speed runs like a shit ton of N64 games and other games that he just really has a passion for. And he loves Banjo Kazooie just as much as I do. And one day on Twitter, I saw that he's like, hey, I just went live trying to speedrun Banjo Kazooie. And so I watched him for a little bit. As a speedrunner, I don't really watch speedrunners, which is funny. But I watched him do a few speedruns and I got addicted to watching him. And I played Banjo a lot as a kid. And so when I saw him do that, I had a good idea of how the mechanics of that game worked already. And so when I saw him doing tricks, I was like, oh, I could do that. That looks really easy. I feel like I can do that really well. So I gave that a shot and tried it myself. And um, once I started messing around and then I started to do it, it was like, oh, okay, now it's
Ah.
starting to be better. And I was like, cool, I can actually do this now. And I got my hands on like speedrunning tools, like an EverDrive, which has a practice mod, which then you can like reload a level, you can make save states, you can try
Okay.
these things over and over and over again. And so like I started to mess around with that and practice a lot more. And then I got better and better and better. Thus, I ended up beating his time. And he even actually got in with me on commentary once for a tournament that I'm currently running, which probably by the time this video is done, that'll be over.
Maybe.
Um,
I mean, I was also considering because that the bigger video that I'm doing with this is still a long ways out of production. So I honestly thought a couple days ago, I'm like, man, I could just upload this interview as its own standalone thing at first and then include it. So I don't know. You might see this tomorrow. I don't know. I'll have to
Possibly
I'll have
the
to figure it out.
final race for my tournament that I'm running is November 26th, 2023. But you can catch all the VODs on twitch.tv/Banjo Race or Banjo Race YouTube channel. Anyways, so this was a fun, like, communication and commentary that I had with him, and I told him all this too, and he was really blown away. But I kind of looked at him as my first mentor, because I kind of like really absorbed a lot of the skills and stuff that I watch through his speed runs, and so
Right.
I copied his route down to the T. And once I got that, then I just kept improving and like learning from other people. And now I'm technically being trained by the world record holder for Banjo Kazooie. So
That's actually pretty cool.
mhm.
Um, it's funny that you mentioned Family Jewels because not like 10 minutes before we sat down and listened to or started doing this, I was listening to his cover of Big Shot from Deltarune
Nice,
because it's just
nice,
it's so good.
nice.
Yeah, no, that's really funny. I didn't know he was. I had no idea that he was a Banjo speedrunner.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
that's
he's got a 218, which I believe places him. Actually, I can check right now. He is let's see. Family Jewels is 83rd in the world.
that's
So
not.
he's plays not terrible, but he's got a 218.44, and that was 2 years ago.
Oh wow.
And frame of reference, I'm now top 15. And
Oh, congratulations.
thank you, thank you.
I remember at one point this wasn't a solo thing. This was a few years ago. Me and my buddies were like, "Hey, let's try and speedrun this certain zombies map," and it was our first try, and we ended up placing fourth in the world overall.
Oh, nice.
But then
That's really
again,
cool.
but then again, that was 3 years ago, so we're not even in the top 10 anymore. But for a little bit, I'm like, yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm pretty happy with that. And then when I started speedrunning Der Eisendrache pretty regularly, which is another zombies map, the fucking world record holder for most of the maps in zombies was in my stream giving me tips and shit, and I'm like, that's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, when you have a community that's very helpful, they it's really nice to like
Yeah.
see them push you further, you know, like that's kind of what the Banjo speedrunning community is kind of all about. We're pretty helpful in terms of like creating resources, helping those that are just starting, and um I feel like this might become, I would love to see this game almost, you know, just as popular as something in Super Mario 64 in terms of speedrunning. Um, I mean, there's only 288 submitted runs on speedrun.com,
Oh really?
but yeah, and that's that's a good amount, but not nearly as much as something like Super Mario 64, which, you know, I think has, let's see, let's take a
Excuse
look.
me.
Um, Super Mario 64 in, let's see, 120 star has 610 submitted runs. 70 star, which I'd probably argue is the most popular, has a, you know, 1,123.
Holy shit.
16 star has, you know, oh no, 16 star is more popular because it has 1,800,
Oh,
or it has, well, 18,000, or God, I can't speak, 1,856 58. There it is. That's the number I
wow.
was trying to go
That's
for.
pretty. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah. So I would love for Banjo Kazooie to be in that. So if you like, you know, consider that amount of people all together between all different kind of categories, you're looking at like 20 to 30,000 runs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like maybe that's probably astronomical number, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of runs that are submitted into that. So, and Banjo's got, let's see, there's only like two major categories, or, you know, 100% and 80%, and then you have different consoles too. So
Mm-hmm.
there's not very many of us, but
Right.
one day we would like for it to be that way. And me and the world record holder, Asmi, as well as another person by the name of Schlongster. Um,
Ah, okay. I recognize those names.
yeah, we actually started to do the thing called Sub 2 Boot Camp. And Sub 2 is kind of like, you know, the upper echelon of Banjo speedrunners. Once you get a Sub 2, you're considered really, really good. And there's only 5 of those right now.
Oh,
So,
really?
yeah. So
So you're really in the elite category
that's,
if you can get a sub two.
yes.
That's
And
really cool.
until a trick comes out that makes it a little bit more accessible. But we are putting a Discord together where Asmi, the world record holder, who has 1 hour 56 minutes and 32 seconds, um, he's helping us, like, you know, with every single level, you know, what to do, what not to do. And, you know, we've got a Discord server, um, that he's got notes for every single level. He's got homework for every single level. He's got video explanations for every single level. So, you know, there's a lot to it. And for those that want to try to like hardcore grind, that material is going to be there, which has never been there before.
Huh.
So it's kind of cool.
So speaking as someone who has never played Banjo before, which is probably a sin, um,
Yes.
how easy do you think it would be for someone like me to get into the Banjo speedrunning?
Easy.
Yeah.
Very easy. I would say so. And that's not just me being like, what should I say? There's a word for it that's escaping me, but you know, basically me being someone who lives and breathes this game for the past 2.5 years.
Yeah.
But I would say so because there is a lot of material out there that can help you with that. And I would argue that it is almost just as good as Super Mario 64. Not like perfect, but we have resources available that help with speedrunning really, really well. Like that practice mod
Mm-hmm.
that you can get. You know, it's all about getting the resources for it because, you know, there's so many different kinds of routes, so many different kinds of like techniques you can do. And Banjo-Kazooie is not right out of the gate, you need to do the best thing ever. It's more like right when you get there, you can just play the game normally. As long as you have the movement down, you can get, if you were to jump into it and you had really good movement, but you didn't do any crazy tricks, you could probably get a sub 208 consistently.
Really?
If you were to just get movement down, just moving Banjo faster and not even doing any of the crazy tricks that this game includes, that would put you in the top 30.
Really?
Yeah, and just movement alone. Like you could potentially even get a sub 205, which then would put you in the top 25. But again, it's like just if you were to just like if you move in straight lines and just, you know, the quickest line that would take you from point A to point B all the way to Z and not do any crazy tricks where you're clipping through walls or you're doing some crazy like technique that you have to think like 3 steps ahead, all this kind of stuff. If you didn't have to do that, you would get really fast at that game really easily. And there's different routes you can do that just make that easier. You know, like going into a level sooner, going into a level, you know, like, you know, it's just, there are so many things that you can do at that game that are so open-ended. And the craziest thing about this game in particular for speedrunning 100% is you're just playing the game. Like, you know, it's like you're not really doing things that are crazy like Super Mario 64 where you're doing like backwards long jumps all the time or you know you have to do button inputs to just make the game fucking like grab a bomb which then just sends you fucking flying. You know what I mean? Like this is just play the game.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about Banjo-Kazooie because it's so, the game itself is pretty crisp in movement and like in the game itself. Sure, the game is broken when you really look at it, but I mean, the game itself is designed really well, and you can just do whatever you can to just play it and get a good time. So, I would argue that you could do pretty well with a person that just doesn't have like that much skill. I taught my wife how to do a trick that I would argue is an intermediate skill, and she's only played the game once.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Huh. If you know how to, basically it's this technique, which you can throw up as a video reference because it's called Cluck Clock Wood Soft Lock or CCW Soft Lock, which essentially locks the game in place where you're staring at a wall and you can still hear Banjo moving around. And you're supposed to get from this giant flower into Mumbo's hut, which Mumbo's hut allows you to transform. Right. And CCW is the last level in the game. And essentially, the game locks the camera in position into one wall, and you can't see what you're doing, but you can hear Banjo and you can still move around. You can move around the entire level and exit the level if you just knew where you were at, but you just are locked in. So basically, if you just know how to count, which I'm sure everybody does, you can get into Mumbo's hut, which then breaks the soft lock. And it's essentially just holding a direction and counting. and it's very easy.
Huh.
So if you
Interesting.
just knew that, that's an intermediate skill level that anybody can do if you just knew how to count. So
That sounds almost like a trick that I use when I'm speedrunning Horizon. So you have to go to a special area to light a bonfire,
mhm.
which takes about 10 minutes to go around all the way. But you can hit that bonfire if you aim your camera just at the perfect position, and it saves you. It saves me honestly like 5 minutes out of the
Yeah,
whole thing.
that's yeah. The trick that we do for soft lock is not the hardest by any means, and it's not something that saves you a great amount of time.
Right.
That all depends on routing.
Yeah.
But there are certain tricks that you do that do save you even more time. But um, yeah, it's fun. It's definitely fun. I would say it's very easy for a lot of people to get into.
Yeah.
I would argue it's probably the easiest one to get into, but there are a lot of tricks that I wouldn't say it's got a really high skill ceiling, but a really easy intro. So it's a very good broad
Okay, so like
speedrunning category.
the skill ceiling is high, but the skill floor is low, is what you're
Yeah,
saying. Okay.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Cool. So how are your Ocarina of Time randomizers going? How have you? I'm sorry I haven't been able to catch your streams lately. Work has just been kicking my ass. So
It's all good.
how have they been going recently?
They're okay. They're fine. I mean, I joined a tournament just recently called the Scrubs tournament, and that is on Twitch.tv/Scrubs Central. And they had a tourney which was just for basically new people, scrubs, if you will. And I didn't do very well. I was out in 2 matches.
Oh no, really?
Yeah,
Oh no.
but it's okay. I didn't really want to do this one anyway because I got coaxed into it by friends, and Schlongster, one of the BK runners, was too good to qualify for this tourney,
The
and so he
Scrubs
wasn't
tourney.
in it.
That's
Yeah,
actually kind of funny.
I actually almost didn't qualify myself.
Really? Too good or
Yeah,
too bad?
too good. Thankfully,
Thankfully,
there
too
is
good.
no. Yeah, you can't be too bad to qualify for a Scrubs tourney,
That's
and you can
fair.
definitely
Yeah,
be too good.
that's fair.
Uh,
Yeah, you just
um,
wipe the floor with the competition. Not even close.
this was my first ever Ocarina of Time tourney too, randomizer tourney, and I got put into one of the top brackets. And so
Oh, really?
for those that are familiar with Ocarina of Time, you get 6 medallions and 3 stones. Those are dungeons, and they base the tournaments out of the medallions. So you'd have forest medallion, water medallion, fire medallion, so on and so forth. And I was on spirit medallion, which I think was the hardest one and the topper skill level. And some of the other people I knew that were from the Banjo speedrunning community were in the lower ones. And so they've been having a much easier time. And I believe they're even still in the tournament. But I was in a more difficult one, and I got knocked out in like 2 matches.
Damn.
But I think that was all based on me because I kept thinking about different routing and like things to do, and it kind of
Gotcha.
yeah. So it was all me, I would say,
Did you at
because I
least
could
put
have
up?
played
Did
those
you at
better.
least put up a little bit of a fight?
No, I
No.
got shit stomped.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's heartbreaking.
yeah. But there is another tournament that's going on that's going to be starting here soon, and this one's put on by the Banjo speedrunning community, which we call Booter, because everyone in the Ocarina of Time randomizers calls them Ooters,
Right.
OOTRs,
Yeah.
if you will. And so we've come up with one that's called the Banjo Ocarina of Time
The
randomizer, Booter.
Banjo Arena.
Yeah,
That's an
Booter, if you will.
excellent name.
Yeah, it's great. It's so good. A lot of people put in a lot of thought into it.
Oh,
But it is fun. I think currently we've got like 12 people in it. It's not going to be a big tourney, but it's definitely it's going to be fun.
are all skill ranges available? Because I might throw my hat in that ring. Also, again, full transparency. I've never played Ocarina of Time, so
I think as of today the signups are closed.
damn it.
But yeah,
Oh,
but It is. It was technically open for a lot of people. We were just going to, you know, we were just going to have it be like just the Banjo
Uh-huh.
community, but we opened it up to more people. We actually have a really really good Ocarina of Time randomizer speedrunner, or say speedrunner, but runner, I guess,
Yeah.
in this tournament that hasn't played Banjo before. So it is going to be interesting
Cool.
because they're really good. I know I'm not going to win this thing because I'm not the best at Ocarina of Time randomizers, but I am getting better at them.
Well,
And
that's all that matters, right?
yeah, it's definitely a fun thing to do that's not Banjo.
Right.
And there's a joke that all of the Banjo speedrunners retire and go to Ocarina of Time randomizers. There was a joke that was said the other day
Just
which made me laugh, and it was B- Ocarina of Time randomizer is the retirement home of BK speedrunners. So
that's pretty good. I like that.
you know,
Um,
you'll see a bunch of BK speedrunners just walking around with walkers and these really thick glasses, wondering where
wearing
their grandchildren are.
wearing a big like Link's fucking elf hat.
You make sure to go into a retired BK speedrunner chat in Twitch and just offer them hard candy, and it's generally a good time.
Yeah.
Ask about how their children are, and stuff like that. Maybe who's
Well, I
visited
mean,
them.
maybe they wouldn't know because maybe their children haven't called them. I'm
Yeah,
just
that
saying.
too.
That's you'd probably ask them that, and then they'd start complaining about how their children never call them,
Exactly.
or they'd start rambling on about back in their day they used to speed run Banjo.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. This doesn't really have anything to do with speedrunning, but in the last little bit, what's been your favorite game that you've played? Like newer, have you had? You know what? Actually, let me ask you this one. How did you like Spider-Man 2? Because I haven't talked to
You
you
know,
about it in a while.
it's funny as I was gonna say that.
How'd you like? Did you finish it?
Yeah,
What'd you think of it?
I plat, I
Oh,
platted it. It was
I
great.
platted it too.
It was
It
awesome.
was an
It was
amazing
really really good.
experience.
Yeah, you could say they put the amazing in Amazing Spider-Man.
You
It was a lot
could,
of
you
fun.
shouldn't, but you could.
Hey, I like that movie.
It,
Don't you talk ill about it.
I haven't actually seen the second one, but I heard it was not great. But the first one
Hey,
wasn't bad.
our Andrew Garfield is a precious human
He
being, and he should
really
be protected
is.
at all. He should be protected at all
He
times.
was great in No Way Home.
Yeah,
Tobey
it
Maguire was
just
great.
was.
No Way Home was just a good movie.
I really liked it.
Yeah.
But Spider-Man 2 was awesome. I really loved it. It was a lot of fun. There was a lot of like, uh, I am a Spider-Man enjoyer. There's a lot of things that I don't know about the Spider-Man universe. I know about, a lot of the stuff secondhand from my brother and my nephew,
Mm-hmm.
who are big Spider-Man people and have read some of the comics and just go deep dive into the lore a lot of the times. And so I get a lot of that knowledge from them. And so it was a lot of, it was really cool to see a lot of throw-ins from the King in Black, a lot of Easter eggs thrown in about like a lot of the symbiotes coming, and
Yeah.
it's cool to see that they're taking on a story for Spider-Man that doesn't really get explored all that often, except for in the comics. So it's neat to see, and I'm excited to see what Spider-Man 3 is going to be. Um, Theories going around is that Peter Parker is going to die, but
That's
I
what I've
don't
heard
want
too. I
I don't
can't.
want that to
I
happen.
don't know if this was actually confirmed or not, but I read a couple things that said that Insomniac said that Miles is going to be the main Spider-Man going forward. Which, if you've played to the end of the game, makes sense.
Well, they said I thought I read that same thing, but they said is going to be the main focus for now. So I don't know.
I mean, I'm okay with that because I liked Miles.
I do too.
I
I
I
like
I,
Miles too.
I enjoyed his game. Albeit, I thought it was a little short. I still didn't
Hmm.
mind it.
Yeah, I
Um,
enjoyed it too. It was fun. It was short, like I agree, but I don't know. I kind of don't want Peter to just be killed off,
I don't think he'll be
but I
killed
don't know.
off, but we'll have to see what happens.
Yeah,
Um, did you?
but fun game though. Fun game though.
Oh, such a fun game. Like I know life that game for 3 days and I platted it. I think I only have like 35 hours in it, but I platted it, which a lot
I
of
tried to extend it as much as I
a lot
could.
of people were complaining that it was too short, and it's like, well, The main story was shorter than expected, but it told such a compelling, right to the point, no filler story that I didn't mind that it was maybe not as long as I was expecting.
Yeah, don't want to bloat a game, and I think it was a good length.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And the new, like, the web wings was cool. I love that
Hmm.
addition. The suit powers now, those are
The
cool.
suits themselves were
Oh,
cool.
I love the suits. My favorite suit for Peter was Spider Noir,
Oh, that
and
was a cool one.
my favorite suit for Miles was the one that you get when you did the fucking the music museum one, where he's got the vest and the fedora
Oh
on.
yeah, the
That's
fedora.
my
Yeah,
favorite. That's my favorite Miles suit.
there were a lot. I don't know. I can't remember which one I ended up going with,
Man, there
but
were a lot
I
of
tried to
good
keep. I
ones.
tried to keep ones that were pretty similar to like original Spider-Man, I guess. Um.
I did enjoy the webbed black suit from the Sam Raimi movie.
Oh
I
yeah.
really enjoyed that. I'm a sucker for the Sam Raimi movies. I know they're not great by today's standards, but they're nostalgic fun. I
Yeah.
love, especially that second one. I love Spider-Man 2.
Yeah. I think that's a cult classic.
Oh,
But can we not?
100%.
But we have to just appreciate Bully Maguire in
Oh,
Spider-Man 3.
I I brushed my hair the different way the other day, and I sent a picture to my friend, and he's like, "Man, you really just look like Bully Maguire from Spider-Man 3." And I'm like, "You take that back."
That's a compliment.
Yeah, that was an incredible game, and I can't wait to see where they take it from here. Which,
I'm excited for
but it's all,
Wolverine.
but it also kind of sucks because, like, there isn't really any games coming out that have been announced, at least, that I'm really excited for.
I've
Uh,
got some on the horizon that I'm kind of excited for.
so
I'm excited for Super Mario RPG coming out to the Switch. Um, I played that like once before on the SNES, and it was fun, and I enjoyed it. And I'm excited to play it again. Um, and I'm pissed that I won't really be able to play it that much because I'll be moving this weekend. But
right,
at least I'm excited for it.
yeah.
Paper Mario: A Thousand Year Door, I'm excited for as well.
Is that a remake, or is that a remaster? Because that
That is
sounds
that is
familiar.
that is that is a remake, yeah, which
Okay.
I recommend a lot of people play because that game's fucking amazing.
Um. I'll,
It's really good. It's really funny. I've been trying to get Destry to play it as well, and now he has no choice. When that comes out, I am forcing him,
there
and
you
he has no option
go.
otherwise.
What do you did you see the nominees for Game of the Year?
I did.
What do you think's gonna win?
Baldur's Gate 3 is going to clean house.
Do you think it's gonna clean house?
Yes,
It's funny because I literally just started playing Baldur's Gate today. Like, I just
I
made my
have.
character and everything. I made a
I have
little
not played.
I made a little gnomish fucking bard.
Nice.
Yeah.
I have not played Baldur's Gate 3 yet. I plan to soon, but that was a it was like a cultural, not cultural, there's a word for it, but a
It
lot of words are escaping me
it was
today.
it was an
But
industry shock.
it was an industry shock. That's a good word for it. It was an industry shock because a lot of people took it by storm, even for people who have never played a Baldur's Gate game before. And that is a big sign for when a game is good.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
nobody has not liked it. And it's kind of like Animal Crossing, New Horizon, or whatever the new one was
The
that was
one
on
on
the
the
Switch when
Switch, eh? Yeah.
the one that was on the Switch that like when the pandemic hit, everyone bought.
The
I
the
didn't.
game the game that came out the same day as Doom Eternal.
Yeah.
That
And
I love that so much.
so when a game like that comes out and it just takes everyone, and even for people that have never like played those games before, and it just got received so well, I don't see it not cleaning house.
I think it made a
Like,
lot of other gaming companies scared because, from what I always heard when it came out, it was a full game. There was no microtransactions. There was no nothing. It was all there, which should be the
yeah,
standard. And I think it.
100%.
I think I remember hearing that it's going to scare a lot of game companies now because I'm starting to
Good.
I'm starting to get fed up with it. Um,
That's good though. That's good. We want that
mhm.
scare.
I don't plan on getting it, but I've heard that the new Modern Warfare game that just came out not too long ago, it's just a DLC, but
This is trash.
they marketed it as a full game. Apparently, the campaign is only 3.5 hours long, and it's
Yeah, I
trash.
heard him. I heard about
which is
that.
upsetting because that would have been the only reason I got it. Because I enjoyed 2019 Modern Warfare's campaign, and I really enjoyed last year's campaign. But I don't know. That's why I buy Call of Duty nowadays. Because a lot of people are like, "Oh no, people don't buy Call of Duty for campaign. They buy it for multiplayer and Warzone." No, fuck that. Fuck that. I'm here for storytelling. God damn it.
Yeah, now they don't really care about storytelling.
No, the last good Call of Duty game was Black Ops 2, and I won't. I'll fucking die on that hill.
Yeah, I speaking of the Game Awards, though, I don't think my prediction is that I don't even think Tears of the Kingdom is going to get anything. Mario Wonder is not going to get anything. Maybe maybe a couple things, but I don't think Spider-Man 2's. Maybe Spider-Man 2 might get 1 or 2 awards, but I think Baldur's Gate 3 is going to clean house.
Yeah, like Elden Ring did last year.
Yeah, but that was deserved. That game's amazing.
That game is so amazing, and it was tough to watch Ragnarok and Elden Ring come out in the same year because I was really hoping for Ragnarok to win Game of the Year.
Yeah, that was a really good game too.
It's such a good game. I'm actually thinking of replaying it again.
I was one of the only there. It's a good game by my standards when I beat it and then immediately want to replay it again.
Yeah,
and I did that with Ragnarok because I wanted to show my wife the story for it, and I was playing all of it on stream, so she didn't really get to see. I was like,
I remember that. I remember watching you. I remember seeing that you were playing it. And I'm like, Weezy, I want to be there, but I need to experience this for myself. Because
that's the problem.
I was playing it literally at the same time that you were streaming it, so I didn't want to like hop into stream and see you either farther or behind, and then I accidentally say something that gives something away. That's what I did with Spider-Man as well, because I saw that you were playing it, and I'm like, I don't want to say anything in case either he's ahead of me or I'm ahead of him and I accidentally reveal something.
Yeah, that's the problem with being a streamer that's not super well known at this time, and it's like, it sucks because you want to play these new games when they come out and hope that you get exposure, or you play the new game like everyone else is and you just get buried, right? Or and at that point you have your regular viewer base that's like, oh, I plan on playing this myself and I'm gonna just not watch because I want to avoid spoilers. So it's a tough call to make. Yeah. So generally the things that I've been doing now is, hey, I'm playing this day one, come watch if you want, and if I get a lot of people, then I'll stick around and play it for even longer. But I'll give it 1 day or 2 days on stream and then play the rest myself. So there are some games though that I just refuse to play on stream, and that is like turn-based RPG games.
So you wouldn't play Baldur's Gate on stream?
No, I actually plan on doing that on stream because I have a thing that I like to do, which I haven't done in a while. It is a show that I've done with my wife a couple of times, which we have dubbed Once in a Lifetime. And essentially we play 2-player games, and she doesn't like to be on stream very often, which is why I don't do it all that often. But I do want to do character creation with her and do like a couple of quests with her on there. And then if people decide they want to watch more, we'll just do more of it. But we'll do a couple streams of that and then play the rest ourselves.
That's not bad.
So
I like that.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah. So we got a lot of 2-player games that we have wanted to try to attempt, but we just haven't gotten around to it yet. So that's definitely the first one, though.
Is Baldur's Gate? Yeah, that's understandable.
Baldur's Gate 3. Yeah.
That's
why I haven't touched it yet.
I wasn't gonna get it, and then my buddy kept just pestering me. I was like, okay, fine, I'll get it.
Yeah.
So
it's supposedly really, really good, and I'm excited to give it a shot.
Yeah,
but
I'm kind of.
I have to wait. I have to wait.
Yeah, that's understandable.
But,
before we head out, Weezy, because I'm taking up too much of your time here. Do you have anything that you want to plug or anything that you want to talk about that your upcoming projects or anything?
Well, other than me getting back into the Banjo speedrunning grind here soon, after I'm done with my move and doing more Ocarina of Time randomizers for a tournament coming up, which I believe should be starting December 1st. On Banjo Race, twitch.tv/Banjo Race. Another thing that we are doing on top of Banjo speedrunning for myself for my own personal goal, there is a thing which we have dubbed the BK League, Banjo Kazooie League, not Burger King. And this will be its 5th season. We've done multiple seasons before. Essentially, what this is every week we do a run, and there is a list of people that can participate in it, and it's asynchronous runs, meaning you run Banjo Kazooie, and I, for example, will say, "Hey, I'm going to do a run. I got a 2-hour, 10-minute, whatever," and that's my run for the week. Then the following week, I do another run, and I get a 2-hour, 5-minute run, and I'm like, "Cool, I improved my time by 5 minutes." Every week that you do a run, you get participation points. You get more points for completing a run. You get more points for improving on a run. And you get even more points if you decide to race someone live, and also by PBing. So essentially, this league is all based on like just participating and doing runs relatively like weekly. And this season's going to go for about probably 3 months. And then it's leading into another tournament, which I am hosting. And before, I have better ones for this, but before this tournament I'm currently running, we actually have trophies, which I'm sending out to people that I'm currently doing. That's
fucking wild.
Yeah. This one's actually going to a Japanese runner that got 3rd in the tournament that I'm currently hosting. And but my wife and I are trying to 3D print a base for it, and we're going to put her name on it.
That's fucking cool.
Yeah. And then I have boxed up the other 2, but we're waiting for 2nd and 3rd. But instead of having a shit ton of people join in, because frame of reference, we had currently this tournament that I'm running was also the biggest tournament this community's ever seen, with 59 people in it.
Oh, really? Wow, that's actually pretty impressive.
That's huge. And so we're doing this BK League. So however many people join for the BK League, because it's great because there's no commitment. You could just do a run, or you could just not do a run. Right. And there's no commitment in the BK League, which is great. And it's good for a lot of people. But if you end up doing the best in this season, you're going to be essentially put into the tournament.
Okay.
So we're going to try to make the BK League essentially qualifiers. That's how, and I'm technically taking charge of this BK League, because everyone was like, "Oh, when are we going to see it come back? When are we going to see it come back?" And I'm like, "I'm doing it. I'm going to be the guy. I'm going to take charge, and I'm going to do it. And better yet, I'm going to spice it up, and we're going to throw a tournament in at the very end." So that's kind of what I got going on right now. It's a lot of Banjo Kazooie, which I thought I was going to be taking a break from, but I guess not. And that's basically it, other than what me and Destry have been working on in terms of Quests Unknown, which is also an unknown at the moment, but it's kind of it.
Cool. Well, thank you for taking the time to sit and chat with me, Weezy. I appreciate it. I know this has been months in the making.
Yeah, I appreciate having me be here, so it's kind of fun.
Yeah, no, this was a great time.
Heck yeah.
Do you have any final thoughts before we close out?
If you're gonna speedrun your favorite game.
Those are wise fucking words.
Yeah, exactly. So if your favorite game is fucking, E.T. on the Atari, and that's your favorite fucking game ever. God. And if that's your favorite game, you better fucking speedrun it.
If that's your favorite game, why?
Yeah, well, first of all, what the hell's wrong with you? Yeah. Second of all, get some help. Third of all, maybe speedrun it.
Maybe.
And then get therapy too, because then something's clearly wrong with you.
If your favorite game is E.T. on the fucking Atari.
Yeah, well, there's someone out there.
Yeah, that's fair. I just hope they don't surface. They can stay out there. Anyway, thank you.
Hell yeah.
Thank you again for hanging out and chatting.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah.